Welcome to Mobile Rolling. After a short break, it'll be my pleasure to have a special guest here. I won't say his name, but the story that will unravel will be amazing.
Here at Valley Horse Transport, our high level of knowledge and experience within the equine industry ensures that your most important and most loved assets are professionally transported with the utmost safety and welfare. Adelaide to Melbourne, Melbourne to Sydney, with reliable connections throughout all states in Australia. With the well-being of your equine companions being of paramount importance, our angle load transport trucks are fully equipped with a full range of safety devices and features. As well as providing professional equine transport, Valley Horse Transport also have multiple stabling facilities located among our routes, ensuring your horse arrives safe and in excellent condition. When the best is only good enough, ring us at Valley Horse Transport on 0499 449 151.
Welcome back to Mobile Rolling. It's my pleasure to have with me someone that a lot of people would know and some people wouldn't know, but he plays a very important part in the industry. It's my pleasure to welcome Gary Ridings. How are you, Gary?
Good, thank you, Gary.
It's good. Some people will know what you do, some people won't know what you do, but we'll let that unravel as we are. You've been in the industry a long time with the horses, but let's start about where you were born, early schooling, and we'll go from there. So what can you tell us?
Okay, always lived up in the northeast of Adelaide, around Modbury, Teacher Gully area. Went to Modbury West Primary School, born in Adelaide, obviously. Went to Modbury West Primary School, then went on to Modbury High. Wasn't a great success story at school. Certainly...
I can relate to that.
Yeah, certainly didn't pass with flying colours or anything, but...
I didn't pass. So
yeah, well,
actually,
neither did I, let's be honest. But I was probably more interested in taking the form guide and a little transistor radio and listening to the races while I was at school. And I left school pretty early, year 11, and went on and got a job in a factory for a couple of years. And wasn't long after that I then got into the horse industry.
So when you said you would rather listen to the races, was that the gallops or was it the trots or what, or was it both, or was it just an interest in the animal itself?
It was probably more the trots. I had a friend that introduced me to the trots at an early age, and we were going to meetings when we were 15, 16.
So where were they at the time?
Usually just Globe Derby. We would do some road trips and go to Pirrie, Victor, Strath. We would go anywhere there was a trot meeting. As I got older and I became closer to being able to put my own bets on, we were going to more and more meetings. But and my dad owned horses as well, so that was the.
So he had like paces and trotters.
Yes, yeah, okay. He had them with Bronty Giorgio early on. Okay. And that was my introduction into the industry.
Okay. So when you went to you left school.
Yep.
And you worked in a factory or whatever?
Yes, yep.
How long were you there? When did you say this is not for me, or what did you do with the horses? Did you go and work some on a Saturday morning after work, or before work, or what did you? Quite
an interesting story, because I was allergic to horses, but I had such a passion for following them and going and attending meetings and so on. So I worked in this factory for 2 years. I had an accident there where I actually severed the tendon in my index finger here, and I was on light duties for a while, and I really didn't like the job. And then my dad, having horses with Bronty Giorgio, Bronty mentioned one day, look, if you're looking for a little bit of part-time work, you want to come and feed some horses and fill up water buckets and muck out some yards, come and help out on a weekend or whatever. And so I went started helping Bronty, and I'll never forget my first day. Bronty handed me a halter and said, just go get that horse in the third yard or wherever. And I bought this horse back with the halter upside down and inside out. No one had taught me. I had no idea. I didn't know what I was doing.
At least you had the horse.
Oh, at least the horse was there. But I don't think the horse knew what was going on either. But I had no idea. I was very new to the industry, and I was allergic to them, and I was sneezing.
So with the horses that your dad had with Bronty, did he have any of any note? Did he have any success? Did he have winners, losers?
Certainly did. Yeah, he had a really nice trotter at the time called Musk Miss. That won numerous races. Another one called Mighty Popper. We're talking back in the early '80s, I think. Mm-hmm. And he had a few bad ones as well, no good ones, but
we've all got them.
Yeah, everyone has good and bad, and so Dad had I don't know, maybe about 10 years he had an involvement in syndicates organised and so on.
So what with your involvement with Bronty? So you went from the upside down halter to I suppose eventually. You would have started driving some track work and stuff like that?
Yep. I was at Bronty's.
How old were you then?
About 18, 19, through till about 22. I was at Bronty's for about 4 years. To be honest, it was the best 4 years of being involved in the industry from my memories. I really enjoyed working for Bronty. He's if you don't know him well enough, he's an absolute character. He's a comedian. I've always had a lot of respect for Bronty.
So at that stage with sorry to interrupt, that stage with Bronty, because Bronty's sort of in the twilight of his career now. He just has a few horses for the people down south and a couple of his down the southeast. What did you have any memories of horses that he had that were a bit special?
Yes, absolutely. There was two in particular: Madora Caramir, Jack's a Star. Some trotters, Totem Toto. There's another one called Milwaukee something or other. All ended up becoming fast class horses. I've got a funny story actually about Madora Caramir because I think about the old days a lot, and
don't we all?
Yes, and they were the best days. I think of the days of going to the betting ring where there'd be 40 bookmakers, and I remember this horse called Madora Caramir was having its first ever run. And it had been working really well on the track. And I remember going up and having $100 each way. Its first start was against Pappy McCoy. And
which is the Ross Sugars horse?
Yes, the Ross Sugars horse, which was the champion. Yeah. And Pappy McCoy was a long odds-on favourite. And Madora Caramir was having its first ever start, and it was 40-1. And I remember having $100 each way with Keith Johnson. And Keith Johnson, who was very well known for being, he'd take any bet, and he was a fearless bookmaker. And he didn't know me from a bar of soap. You had your big names like your Mittens and your Graham Silks and your Alan Arthurs and guys like that were big punters.
Kevin Hillier.
Kevin Hillier, yes, the glider, yes. And I come along with my $100 each way at 40-1, and he looked at me and he's writing the ticket out. He goes, 4,000 or 100 each way, and he winds it out to 50s, and he says, "Do you want any more of that, son?"
I've seen that done at the Whyalla trots with the fearless bookmaker from Port Lincoln who used to take them on. So that horse there, how did it end up? Did it win?
It didn't win. It ran second.
So that was. I reckon that was one of Noel Simpson's horses.
It was. It absolutely was.
He had a bit of a relationship with Bronty.
That's right. He had a number of horses with Bronty at the time. So
you went to they would have been the days when they had actually had trials under lights.
Yes. Yep.
And
10,
a
lot of
12,
trials.
13, 14.
16, 17 trials on a Wednesday night. When I went for my licence, I'd been with Bronty for 3 odd years. I think I was there for nearly 4 years, and he let me drive his horse at the trials. And on a Wednesday night, there'd be 17 trials, and sometimes you'd be in the last trial just to get your little booklet
certification signed
ticked off.
So when you were doing that, guys, what were you doing? Did you have a job at that stage? Were you still working?
I just loved doing that as a job. I worked for Bronty for 4 years, and like I say, they were probably.
Did they have unemployment benefits in, Gas?
They may have.
Do we need to look back on this?
I may have been getting a little bit of help from the government at the time.
Okay.
But,
we won't. I don't think they'll go back that far, but maybe they will. I don't know. They could open up a case on that.
Well.
Anyway. So
it wasn't much they gave me, but I had 2 incomes at the time.
They both weren't much.
No, and a little bit of punting. So
All right. So, tell us about your driving career, and then of course eventually you left Bronty, I suppose. So tell us about. Can you remember your first drive?
Yeah, I can. Yep.
Good, bad, or otherwise?
I was just making up the numbers. It was a horse called Star Dreamer. It was a trotter that Bronty had. It was 100 to 1. I think it finished about 10th of 11 or 10th of 12, and just made up the numbers. And
in those days, you could have gone and put 50 each way on it. Today, you're not allowed to have a bet on your own horse.
True.
So,
yes.
I mean, that's
things have changed.
Honestly, it's best, isn't it?
Yes, yep.
So what was your first winner?
First winner, I'll never forget, was about maybe 8 or 9 drives later for Dick White, a horse called Alpine Image. It was owned by the guys that owned the Stanley's Fish Cafe. Forgot their names now, but Clemenco, Bill Clemenco, wasn't it? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And that horse was 50 to 1, drew outside the back row.
Did you get Keith Johnson again?
No, I didn't have a bet. Dick told me to grab hold. It drew outside the back row. Dick told me to grab hold, go back and rail up. But the horse just came out charging, and I couldn't hold it, and it just somehow lobbed one out, one back. It looked like a gem of a drive, but I don't even know how it unfolded.
People have seen that, have thought that you drove it brilliantly. Now you've let the cat out the bag. You got centre leg on your back.
That's true. Yeah. Anyway, but that was a very memorable winning drive.
So this was about how many years into your career?
Four or 5 years after touching my first horse ever. So
how many years did you train you're with Bronty? You drove a few. Then eventually you went out on your own. Where were you training from?
After Bronty, I did sort of go and help out different trainers. I sort of wanted to get a different, perspective from how different other people. I worked for Rick Fritzen for a little while, Les Harding for a little while, Daphne Sweet for a little while, John Justice for a little while, and shortly after that, I went to America.
So these would have been in the days when things were flying.
Absolutely.
So you would have had did Malcolm Hand have?
Malcolm was like a father to me. I loved Malcolm.
He had that.
Yep. I drove a winner for Malcolm called All Night a number of years down the track, but which was a great honour. But yeah.
So he had the place out there at Waterloo Corner that was.
No, actually he was stabling in Globe Derby back in those times. I think we're talking around mid-90s. So So you did take a trainer's license out, didn't you? Yep.
So you were you might have had a horse with Les and you had one training in yourself and jogged a few, helped him out in the stables and stuff like that.
I pretty much didn't start training until I came back from America. So I spent 7 months in America.
So what did we do? When did we go to America? Why did we go to America?
So 1993, my best mate at the time, Gary Butler, who now lives and resides in WA. We used to knock around a lot. We used to go to town. We'd drive at all the meetings. We'd go to Whyalla. We'd go to Strathalbyn, Victor Harbour, Globe Derby, wherever. We just did a lot of things together, and then we decided to go to America. And Gary, at the last minute when we arrived in America, decided that he didn't want to work in stables. So I went off on my own and did some work for one of the leading trainers there by the name of Dan Outmire in the Meadows, which is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I worked for Dan for about 7 months in the mornings, and he introduced me to his veterinarian by the name of Dr. Wes Perry, who Wes is still a friend of mine today. We still keep in touch with Facebook and messages and phone calls, and he's always been very supportive. But I would work in the morning in the stables, and in the afternoon I'd help Wes, and it may be things like...
What did you do in the stables? Did you drive? Did you
not a great deal of driving.
What did you do?
Yeah, if I was doing any driving, it was just jog work.
No fast work?
Not a great... I did a little bit of fast work. It was always your professionals.
So the race drivers would normally... So they're a bit like jockeys. They would go out and ride track work. And say yes. So far laps worked brilliantly this morning.
Exactly.
So whereas here it's more on the trainer drives and the driver just gets on race day.
So more of my role working in the stables was more learning about the understanding of caring for the lower limbs. So there was a lot of icing and poulticing and a lot of walking and just understanding.
This was how many years ago?
1993 and 1994. So and that's starting to come through now. You see a lot of people that are now using leg paints and wraps and sweats and poultices and so on, and icing a lot more. But you would anticipate that
that with the animal becoming more refined and the breed becoming more refined and faster, that the pressure on their legs.
Absolutely.
So if you were doing that back in '94, that's sort of ahead of its time, because some of the people are only just realised the last 10 years.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the horses, you know, we know the rate of breaking down, especially with they want the tracks faster, but the fast times doesn't mean a good horse, or it doesn't mean any extra punt, you know, the punting income. So
yeah, that's right.
So how many years were you there?
I was in America for 7 months total, the first time around. So as I say, my role in the mornings working for the stable was basically caring for the horses, gearing them up, ungearing them, washing them, and then it was all about leg work, making sure the legs are got, you know, well looked after, well maintained. And then in the afternoons, the time I spent with the vets, particularly Dr. Wes, but sometimes it was his off-sider. I'd be scrubbing joints before he'd be injecting joints. I'd be making up drip bags. I would be just helping out with just general duties, and that was a real insight. I really cherished that opportunity. And great man, great influence, and very supportive in my future role and now what I'm doing.
So we'll have a break now, Gary. So we've basically gone through your schooling, your early part in the game, and training and driving as well. After the break, we'll come back and we'll tell people about where you've gone after come back from America.
No worries.